Folks, it is the shocking truth as I see it. Today is, don't be fooled by that. That was from Sunday. But today is, as the calendar on the wall says, April 29th, 2025. This day will never come again. So let's make sure we make the best of it. How many of you saw this interview last night on America's Most Wanted? Make sure we give them the other source of this, Fox.com, America's Most Wanted.com. But this was about an 8.5-minute segment on Sebastian Rogers, which really bothers me. It was an hour-long show, and Sebastian only got about 8.5 minutes worth of airtime. And I can tell you why. I at least I think I know why. I think there was dissension among the people being interviewed. Okay. And there were things that just didn't make I heard one person say, oh, yeah, we did a really good interview. We won't know till everybody else sees it, but we did really good. Even Seth did really good. And I thought, well, that was kind of nice to say. But in retrospect, after watching it, I realized that the mother and stepfather really gave the network very little to go with. I mean, I don't know about you, but I was disappointed. You feel me there? Let's watch this interview together. And I'm going to probably stop it as we go. I've got different notes here. Some of the things I want to point out is if you watch the interview or you watch this show, and I'll mark this stuff off as I'm talking about it, but they listed America's Most Wanted, which is a very reputable organization, not like a bounty hunter TV show. They did not mention any of that at-night bullshit reward. America's Most Wanted clearly says there's a $50,000 reward being offered. They didn't say by the FBI. They said there's a $50,000 reward being offered, meaning that they did their investigations. And you know how much the reward can be confirmed? $50,000. So at night, take your BS and get out of here. I saw one that was $447,000, and then they said, okay, we'll add Summer Wells, and either one will get you $500,000. There we go back to that. OneWorldMedia.com, look them up. Look up my former lives on that organization. So we talked about the reward real quickly, and not the at-night BS reward for a reason. But let's listen to this. And if I feel inclined, I'll stop and point out some of the things I wanted to. But let's just see how this goes.
Most Wanted. Payne Lindsay, whose investigative true crime podcast Up and Vanished, has brought cold cases back into the national spotlight. And tonight's special guest, Callahan Walsh, a familiar face to America's Most Wanted. Callahan does incredible work with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Thank you so very much, everyone, for joining us. Let's get to our first case now. A missing child, Sebastian Rogers. On February 25th, 2024, Sebastian's mother said goodnight to her 15-year-old son. The next morning, Sebastian was gone.
So pay attention if you've not heard this story. If you have heard the story, I apologize either way for the sound quality here, but check this out.
Sebastian is tall and skinny.
I got to go back. I want to show you something here. So as we get started here, see if I can catch it in time.
Sebastian is tall and skinny.
There. So biological mother, Katie Rogers Proudfoot, okay? Stepfather, Christopher Proudfoot, looking so solemn there. I'm just looking down. I don't know what he's looking down at, but he's looking down, right? Okay, so let's just keep going here. I'm trying to be open-minded, but I'm just telling you what I see, and I'd love to hear what you see because you might be seeing and hearing things differently than me. All right, what's going on here? Hey, bye.
Has a contagious smile, loves video games, loves cats.
Boundless amounts of energy. Sebastian reminds
Boundless amounts of energy.
me of a deer prancing through the woods, enjoying the smell, the breeze, new things. That's my son.
February 25th, the day before Sebastian went missing. Chris was in Memphis at work.
Chris was in Memphis at work, is what she said. Memphis at work. I don't know if anybody caught that. I didn't catch it till just then.
So Sebastian and I went to Texas Roadhouse.
So because Chris was at work, they went to Texas Roadhouse. Come on, folks. Everybody that's been following the case knows they did a lot more than go to Texas Roadhouse. But I like how they downplayed that.
After dinner, right around 9 o'clock, he laid down. I heard a noise in his room. I said, I don't care what you do, but you gotta knock it off and you gotta go to bed. And he answered, yes, ma'am. I said, okay. And
so she hears a knock, a noise in the room. I don't care what you're doing, but you better go to bed. Yes, ma'am. That's what whoever was looking at Sebastian. I like that theory. Somebody was in the room. Somebody came in through the window, an unlocked window that was later locked in time, but went out a window with Sebastian. So here's my new hypothesis. I want to propose to everybody as we watch this that of these two people, one of them is completely guilty and the other one is completely innocent and unknowingly becoming complicit, right? So stick with me on this thought. If she's honest, if she's being legit, and Mr. looking down, looking all over the place on the floor, the eyes darting around, I don't know. I don't know, right? This is just a hypothesis, just a new theory.
that was the last time that I spoke with Sebastian.
Last time that she spoke, no tears.
The next morning, when I went in his room, he wasn't in his bed. After a minute or two, when I couldn't find him, I called Chris, and I said I can't find Sebastian. He's not in the house.
I got off of work. Okay.
So I think if she woke up in the morning and Sebastian's gone, right? Innocent mother wakes up, goes into the bedroom. He's not there. She runs around the house. He's not in the house. She picks up her phone because she's getting ready to get her keys and go outside. And she calls her husband. I can't find him. Calm down, Katie, calm down. Just listen to me and do what I tell you.
And I had a text message from Sebastian's stepfather.
I said, hey, I don't know how to take this.
So he had a text message, but Seth says, I got a text message. But Chris says, I don't know how to tell you this. Is that what he typed on the text message?
But Sebastian admits it.
Oh.
Headed straight over to their house.
I started driving through the neighborhood.
It's been reported that she drove through the neighborhoods, and I don't know how true this is or not, so those of you who might know, and her windows were rolled up in her car. Because it was February, it was cold. I'm sorry, if my children or grandchildren were missing, I don't care if it's a blizzard outside, I'm going to have the windows down, I'm going to be beeping my horn, I'm going to be yelling for them, I'm going to be causing a commotion going through that neighborhood. She was probably on the phone with Mr. Foreman here giving her instructions.
I was panicking. I was looking.
That was a joke. I know he's not a foreman. I know he's a crane operator, but stick with me. Oh, look, here's a visualization of her driving through a neighborhood looking. Come on, what the heck? This tells me that production-wise, America's Most Wanted Missing Persons could find very little worth putting on. But they'd already committed to it. They already got Seth, who even tears up.
Everywhere, like, where is he? What happened? Did he go with someone? Did someone take him? By the time I pulled into the school, Christopher was already telling me to turn around because
So the school is like a couple blocks away, 6 in the morning. By the time she pulled into the school, 6:30, 6:15, 6:35.
authorities were on their way.
Well, I would hope they're on their way.
They use ATVs, horseback.
An extensive
Or
search
shit.
didn't yield
Sorry.
one significant lead or even a glimpse of the boy on any doorbell cam video. Days later, investigators combed through a landfill, still saying they had found nothing.
You know, what's notable is that Seth Rogers, Sebastian's biological father, when he heard his son was missing, did you hear what he said he did? He got in his car and he drove over there, right? Chris, I don't even know where that man's at. Katie's driving around the neighborhood at 6:30 in the morning, 6:15 in the morning, and over to the high school and listening to her husband, not Seth, Christopher, right?
We have nothing. We just have speculations. We get criticized. The father gets criticized. Law enforcement's been criticized.
Well, is that bad to criticize things, Chris? Wouldn't you want to get to the truth? Sometimes getting to the truth is criticizing, right? If we sit back and we don't criticize and we don't challenge things and we don't test and process and procedures and checks and balances, then shame on us. Now who's looking down as he talks?
Online sleuths are really analyzing videos and creating their own theories.
Sebastian is putting something in his pocket. Surveillance footage from a neighbor shows two people outside of Sebastian's house that night.
I'm telling you right now, he was carried out the window, and it's just my feeling. It's just a gnawing feeling. He was carried out. He wasn't even wrapped up. He was carried out in his sleep clothes, right? The black sweatpants and black whatever she's saying he was wearing. He was carried out like that, right out of the bed. I mean, for all we know, that's where something happened. It was in the bed, and then he was carried out. And if Katie is completely innocent to this, which is possible, because we don't know what happened, I propose Katie Rogers Proudfoot is innocent in this case, and that a partner of hers is not.
Something happened.
Tonight marks 1 year since Sebastian Rogers disappeared near Beach High School in Sumner County.
My life is not the same without my son.
He's not here.
But he's somewhere. Someone has him.
This year has been the worst.
Look at this. Okay, I don't know where I wrote it on here, but we got to cover this real quickly because this is, see these two pictures? They are on a kitchen counter, right? And this is how helpful Christopher and Katie have been in this case. This is how helpful they were. America's Most Wanted was willing to go to them wherever they want to be interviewed. Seth at wherever he was at, which I think it was his home. But notably here, this was not Chris and Katie's home. In fact, from what I understand, they refused to do the interview in their home. Why? Sebastian's room a man's cave now, or a den or something? Did we redo the inside of the house differently because maybe one of us knows he's not coming home? It's the stuff on the counter here. So we're in another location, and I'm sure that Mr. thinks he's a foreman was giving them instructions on what they would say and what they wouldn't say and what they would cover and what they wouldn't cover. And of course, America's Most Wanted is going to say, okay. And then when they get back to the studio, then they look at what they really have that really makes a segment. And they said, man, we don't got nothing. We got maybe 8 minutes of this. But look at this countertop. This is a kitchen countertop. And what you see here are two 8x10s. Okay. And then there's a little toy dog back here, and a toy tank. And it just looks so, number one, staged. But what are these people thinking? You can't come to our house. We'll come there and we'll bring a couple photos and a couple of his things. And look, and just, if you can, go watch the video and rewind it and watch it again. But all right, come on, what is going on? This is what I talk about being technically challenged. I need help, folks. Otherwise, I got to make some other choices. Wow. Okay. And that, boom.
It's nightmare. I couldn't imagine to come alive.
Just wants whoever has him. Just give it back. It's my son.
A father, a parent, a mother should be acting like that. Whoever has them, please give them back. because we pray and hope for the best, right? So you'll hear at the end of this segment here where the host says, where's she put? I had it on here. Seth tearing up, host stating, "You can feel it," right? You can feel it from Seth, the father. Let me ask you this. What about the mother or the stepfather? My stepfather cried for me when I was a little kid and I messed up. He loved me. He shed tears for me. My stepfather, as well as my biological father and my mother, right? All three of them loved me. No doubt in my mind. Which is why I say I can see honesty in this man. But the other two, something's missing.
Wow, that dad.
That dad.
You can feel it.
You can feel it.
So we want to talk about theories now, Payne, and what might have happened.
So they go over a lot of theories on here, and I'm just going to turn the sound down and let it play, or maybe I'll just back that out now. But yeah, I was really, I put Mr. Proudfoot up there, Mr. Christopher Proudfoot. I'm not stalking him, and I'm not making accusations. If you read my disclaimers and fine print, all I'm doing is suggesting other things that could have happened that maybe no one has thought about. And I wonder, has anybody thought out that the mother could be completely innocent and the stepfather completely guilty, and he would be the only one that knows that they both where they both are. The innocent mom would believe the innocent, or the stepfather innocent. Anyways, Elizabeth Smart, she was on the panel here of the show last night, and as many of you may know, she was actually abducted out of her bedroom as a young child and held for quite a long time. Terrible story, but she's a survivor. She pointed out that Sebastian, from doing her investigation into this, so many people investigated it. For America's Most Wanted to give it 8 minutes means that something was wrong. They didn't give it the full exposure that it might have been entitled to, because maybe they figured out some stuff in the course of doing the episode. Maybe that's why everybody thinks, oh yeah, it went great. Everybody did great. They fooled you, didn't they? Elizabeth Smart pointed out, though, that in February, it was very uncharacteristic of Sebastian to go outdoors without shoes on, number one. But in February, not only would he have gone out with no shoes, but it was very cold. So she doesn't believe that happened, which got me thinking maybe he was handed through the window. Maybe he was carried out the window. Maybe he was dropped out the window. And then the person climbs out, closes the window, picks him up, and goes off with him, right? Let's see. So I put on here America's Most Wanted. Missing person, did not get equal time. Why? Possibly uncooperative parents. Maybe because they refused to shoot at home. Maybe because they stood at a counter with a couple of photos and a dog toy and a tank toy. That's what they brought to represent the son of Seth and Katie. Seth Rogers and Katie Proudfoot. What do I believe? As you all have heard it now, let me just review that with you. I believe, and this is a different scenario, what if the stepfather was the noise in the night, climbing in the window? That would make a noise of some sort. Looking at his size and stature, there would have been like a giant potato falling on the window onto the floor, thud. What if that noise was the stepfather coming in, and when the mother out in the living room called out to Sebastian, the stepfather goes, "Just say, okay, Mom." And Sebastian yells out, "Okay, Mom." And then everybody's quiet. Sebastian not letting his mom know that the stepfather was in the room with him, came in through the bedroom window, and beginning to look a little confused and scared because maybe this adult walked over there and put their hand over his mouth. Maybe he started tossing and turning because something was going on. He got a bite into an arm for a second, but then pulled away, and there, quietly, sadly, alone or with help, muffled, strangled, I'm sorry, or suffocated, that poor boy, and then to pass him out the bedroom window like a piece of furniture, piece of a discarded rug, into a vehicle where he was taken away in. Then, in the morning, 6 a.m., mom wakes up. Son, wake up, school time. Doesn't hear anything. Opens the door. He's not in the room. My children are grown now, but when they were young, my wife would have immediately called me. And I would have immediately told her, dial 911 and get the law enforcement, then call me back. Right? So she calls her husband, who begins telling her what to do, what to say, how to behave, like a foreman telling a crane operator, do what I say. What if Katie is innocent and being misled by a 5-time marriage holder and boss? So I stopped on this, folks. This case, I hope and pray. What's really cool this morning, America's Most Wanted aired that last night at 8 o'clock. It's just been over 13 hours now. It's 9 a.m. here on the East Coast. And I can only hope and pray that the tip line is ringing at America's Most Wanted. Folks, I tell you, that's what a reputable media outlet or agency will do. They will give you an unbiased presentation. And there's nothing there. They're not going to give you a bunch of smoke and mirrors and BS. My take on that interview last night, my heart aches for Seth and Katie. They both are biological parents of that little boy, and I don't care who's guilty in this regard. Both parents love that child, have loved that child, and I certainly can see Seth loves that child. Katie either loves or loved that child. And Christopher, I can't wait to see the movie, especially when he goes inside and he becomes a youth to the prison population. Folks, that's it today. I'm sorry. That's the shocking truth as I see it. Catch me live this and every day. Random times, 9 a.m. every Sunday. I'll see you tomorrow. Hug those you love. You never know when it will be the last time they ever get a hug.